In this comparative study, I will explore the similarities and differences to the narrative arcs from two Western action-adventure films. Star Wars, a George Lucas film made in 1977, and The Matrix, a Lana and Lenny Wachowski film made in 1999. The hero's journey is a classic narrative arc that has been used for centuries, whether that's the story of St. George and the Dragon, Dune, or any of the films I shall be talking about today. The hero's journey propels the audience and the characters into the story and portrays the growth of a character clearly through the actions they decide to take. A popular form of the structure derives from Joseph Campbell's monomyth from his book The Hero with a Thousand Faces, and adapted by Christopher Folger, follows 12 steps for a hero in every good hero's journey. Those steps include Ordinary Road, Call to Adventure, Meeting the Mentor, and many more. Now, although both The Matrix and Star Wars may not follow these steps precisely, they do share many similarities with this narrative idea. With Star Wars, we follow a young Luke Skywalker, starting as a stroppy teenage boy,
But I was going into Tashi Station to pick up some power converters!
Becomes the saviour of the galaxy. The first step sets up the world our characters live in. The empty desert land of Tatooine gives a drab sense of emptiness in a galaxy hinted to be full of life and adventure. Luke works on his uncle's moisture farm but spends most of his days wanting to fight for freedom with the rebellion against the oppressive Empire. The wide desert landscape shots also help give this sense of emptiness. In a segment from James Cameron's Story of Science Fiction, George Lucas talks to James Cameron about the contemporary political influences behind Star Wars. Lucas and Cameron discuss how during the Vietnam War, America became the Empire. Lucas stated, "The irony in that, in both of those, the little guys won. The highly technical Empire, the English Empire, the American Empire lost. That was the whole point," Lucas says. Lucas based many points of Star Wars on the conflict in Vietnam. This want to fight for freedom we see in Luke Skywalker reflected American society at the time, with the youth being sent off to fight whether that was to protect America or for a sense of adventure. Luke's lust for adventure and change from his boring life as a farmer comes from his clear desire to leave Tatooine and join his friend Biggs in fighting the Empire. The Matrix, on the other hand, begins in a more ordinary-looking world as it resembles a normal Western society in the late 90s. Neo works a boring desk job in a grey skyscraper with no promise of change or excitement in his future. He shares his views with many working members of society as urbanization and city life became the norm. The rise of computers in our society led to more and more mundane office jobs with hours of work spent staring at a computer. A debate that has been going on since the integration of computers into society is whether there is a need for humans if computers can do everything. This is why Neo's human instincts makes him stand out from the Matrix's world of ones and zeros and creates a relatable and truthful character as our own world fears for humans' use as machines begin to push us out of jobs and take away our own social worth. Neo doesn't quite share as much as a lust for adventure as Luke does, but instead we are told by characters around him how much he hates working the 9 to 5 and believes there is more to life than work. Neo takes a more reserved and philosophical beginning as he questions his own reality and what life and living should be. Both Neo and Luke's call to adventure comes from a message from an unknown entity which begins their journey down the rabbit hole. This catalyst is only sparked by the character's desire for change with this newfound opportunity. After finally choosing the path for change, they both end up meeting a mentor figure. In The Matrix, Trinity is the one to introduce Neo into this twilight world of hackers and agents, but it's Morpheus who eventually takes up the mantle of being the mentor. Luke follows Leia's call for help and meets old Obi-Wan. Both old Ben Kenobi and Morpheus explain this new world to our characters. It gives our protagonists an entirely new perspective of life. Obi-Wan describes to Luke the Force and how it works, and Morpheus makes Neo choose between the red or blue pill, and then shows him the real world outside of the Matrix and also teaches him how to harness the code of the Matrix to have superhuman abilities in that world. The attachment our protagonists get with the mentor character comes from the trust built from this newfound knowledge, so when the mentor character is put into danger, it drives the protagonist to go beyond what they are used to in order to save a piece of this entirely new world they now live in. Star Wars uses the death of the mentor in order to push Luke on his hero's journey as Obi-Wan is killed by Darth Vader in an action-packed duel. Matrix, however, doesn't kill Morpheus but instead puts his life in danger and in needing of being saved. In this attempt to save Morpheus, we see Neo take his new fighting knowledge in order to save him. In this scene, Neo shocks both Trinity and Morpheus, which hints at his possibility of being the Chosen One. The idea of being the Chosen One, the one to save humanity and defeat an impressively evil force that threatens to oppress, resonates in these films as the very idea of the hero's journey. As told by Obi-Wan, Luke is the descendant of a great Jedi Knight that was a powerful Force user and a cunning warrior who also fought beside Obi-Wan. Him being the descendant of this Anakin Skywalker sets our expectations up for Luke to be the saviour. The Matrix constantly refers to the prophecy of the Chosen One, and Morpheus strongly believes that Neo is the one they have been searching for. By telling the audience that he is a Chosen One, it gives the audience the feeling that if this average Joe who works for a boring computing job can be the Chosen One, then so can I. By giving the protagonist something to reach towards, it pushes them to push their abilities to be the hero of their own story. The Matrix and Star Wars both portray great examples of the classic Hollywood hero, but part of what makes them so brilliant is their evil counterparts. The Empire and the Machines both represent conformity through oppression. Whether it's the Machines' digital fake world, lying to the humans by using what they believe to be normal in order to use them as a disposable power source, or the Empire's aggressive militaristic might and legions of similarly suited soldiers. They represent conforming to the many instead of following your own hero's journey. By having their evil presence lurk in the background, threatening our hero at every stop of their journey, it gives the hero something to fight against. The villains of the film represent the fears of the audience at the time. In the 70s, a more traditionalistic fascist force was the go-to for Hollywood films, but The Matrix uses the public's fear of technology and the future. By making these the antagonists, it bases our hero's fight on the audience's own fears, therefore making the characters more accessible and relatable as it reflects the public's feeling towards these issues. By having them reflect the society at the time, it gives them a unique spin on the hero's journey as it caters the journey to what the audiences wanted to see, as the entire point of these big-budget Hollywood films is to make money and have them being seen by millions. Another character that is important to the hero's journey is the romantic interest. Star Wars takes a more traditional take, with Luke having to rescue a princess, and The Matrix uses Trinity's true love kiss to bring Neo back to life. But both Leia and Trinity are strong female leads that help our heroes physically, but also emotionally. The cinematography also reflects the hero's journey. Both starting as nobodies, Luke and Neo aren't important to the story yet, and so don't have any hero shots. This is until Luke feels the sense to explore the galaxy and leave Tatooine in one of the most famous shots in film history. As the Western world reads from left to right, by having the binary sunset framed to the right and his home to the left, it tells us that if Luke is to progress, he must explore the galaxy and leave home. An important part of the hero's journey is when our hero saves the day or finds their inner power. These moments are captured beautifully with the central framing as we see in this moment. And also these moments. In conclusion, Star Wars: A New Hope and The Matrix both share the typical hero's journey narrative found in many Hollywood action-adventure films. However, when looking at the societal influences in the narratives and characters, the films diverge slightly, with the protagonist's ambitions and reasons for change. Starting out as wishful thinkers, Neo and Luke eventually meet their mentor, rescue the princess, defeat the evil villain, and save the day, crowning them as the heroes.